Hi, welcome to the Now Seated podcast, the place where heartbreak feels good.
And the show where we talk about the stuff we're watching and whether you should be seated or not. I'm Christian.
I'm Paige. And today we're talking about Leviticus. I can't have fun with this one because it was tragic.
It was very tragic.
It was terribly tragic.
Yeah.
It was a horror, it was
a queer horror.
He really wants to emphasize queer horror.
It's queer horror.
It was advertised as a horror, but I left feeling very sad and horrified.
Well,
how
I mean,
sad I was about the events I watched.
I mean, I think for a horror movie,
like it was good. It was scary. Like horror, sure, but like it really had something to say. Like it was very
Yeah, but I think it's good when horror leaves you with like
right. It was very
kind of
thought-provoking.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
gut-wrenching. Very, is that the word? Gut-wrenching.
Yeah, I don't like sometimes when horror ends on a high note. Like no, I need to know that like the threat might still be out there.
What's the literary device that you would call this movie?
I have no idea. I don't know. Metaphor.
Literary device. You're the literary
allegory.
guy here. You're the one that tells me you love.
It's an allegory.
Yeah,
it's an allegory.
It's an allegory. He says it's an allegory. You hear that? But it's an allegory for the it's an allegory for the gay experience.
Yeah. So so a quick synopsis. Naim and Ryan are two high schoolers who are in love.
Naim, he moves from another town and he comes to this new town, and his mom apparently is a very devout Christian person, and that's why she moved to this town, because it's very Puritan. They're involved with this church. And
they're not in tune with their feelings. Naim is clearly having fully recognizant of the fact that they might be gay, but more so that they're having feelings for each other. Not to say that they're not gay. I'm just saying I think the movie takes a more nuanced approach here of just well, they're young. Right, and they're kind of experimenting,
and they have feelings for each other. And
they have feelings they have attraction to each other. And Naim and Ryan, well, Naim, he falls pretty hard for Ryan, it seems. The next scene after, he discovers Ryan is also making out or hooking up with the pastor's son. Yeah, the pastor's son. And so that hurts his feelings. He feels some kind of way about it. And so he goes and he rats on not only Ryan, but the pastor's son to the pastor and his family. The pastor and his family then confront their son because obviously, well, they're super Christian. It's the pastor of the church that they all go to. The pastor confronts his son, and Ryan's parents then have them both come in to undergo some kind of gay ritual to convert them from being gay.
Yeah, it's obviously an allegory for conversion therapy.
Conversion therapy. Yeah. And so in this ritual, which is kind of very short, which I also liked about it. It's a very short ritual. It wasn't anything crazy.
What would you even call him?
What was he called? I forget what the term was for him in the movie, but he was some kind of I forget what he was called, but they had a term for this other ritual pastor guy, this converter, let's say. We're calling him the converter. He essentially performs this ritual where he imbues or cursed with this entity.
Well, and it's supposed to be, it's obviously it's passing as a cleansing ritual, because
it's supposed to be a sort of cleansing. And it's done in front
of everyone in the community,
right? And it's done in front of everyone in this church going community. It's done in front of everyone to see the entity that they're cursed with
take shape of the person they're most into.
Right, and the movie opens with a girl who gets murdered. We don't know by what or who.
You don't see anyone else. You just see her interacting with the shower. And she's obviously getting pleasured by something, but you don't see it. And then in the next scene, she's getting murdered by that something that we don't see.
Right.
And
then the movie just goes on from there. Yeah. So we have some idea of or at least an idea that it'll kill you. Like you mentioned, right? It takes the form of the person you're most into, that you're most attracted to, that you most desire. In this case, for Ryan, it's Naim, and for the pastor's son, it's Ryan, which is interesting. In doing so, the entity kind of lures you in, or lures them into a false sense of safety, because they don't initially realize that it's not them, that it's not the person that they're actually into. And so the entity will make out with them or pleasure them, them.
Right.
Or
the
like,
entity is just like, it's very, sweet talking. It's
sweet talking. Yeah. It sweet talks you like, and then immediately.
And then starts beating the shit out of them.
Right. Like we get a ton of instances in the movie. Like it'll beat the shit out of you.
You're into me,
like,
I'm beating the shit out of you now.
Yeah. It will kill you.
Like the more you interact with it, the stronger it gets.
Right. The other rule for the entity is that it only comes out when you're alone. So that's the important thing here, because the movie does make use of that a lot. Sometimes, not all the time, but there are a few scenes where like maybe they're not really alone and you still see the entity.
Or you think you see the entity.
But you're not sure.
Like, even as the audience, you're not really sure is that the real person or not.
Right.
Like, the thing that comes to mind right now is that bathroom scene where you see Ryan, like, look at him and he's going to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
But then Name's like, I'm not going to go into the bathroom and follow him because that might be the thing. But then it turns out that it was really Ryan, and Ryan
was
met
attacked.
An entity in the bathroom.
Right. It's a very evil thing. Eventually, Naim, I guess, is spying on the pastor's son just to see what's going on with him, and he sees the pastor's son also interacting with the entity that he can't see.
He can't see
initially. He can't see. Well, he's not supposed to, but again, he can't see. And then that same night, he sees him get dragged off by seemingly nothing, and then the next day, he's found dead. And he goes to report it to the police because he confessed that he was hooking up with Ryan to the police. The police then tell his mother that he's been like having homosexual like feelings for his classmate or whatever. And then his mom proceeds to have him undergo this ritualistic...
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, she drives him to the ritual, and she's just like, I've seen what happens to other boys, and I don't want that to happen to you.
Right.
And so she drives him to the ritual, and he's like, no, like, I don't want this. Don't do this to
me. They're killing them.
But she's like, I don't want you to
I don't want you to, like, suffer from your
feelings.
From your feelings of, like, look what happened to the pastor's son.
Right.
That's what it could happen to you for being homosexual,
for having these thoughts,
for having these feelings. So I'm gonna have you do this. He also undergoes the ritual, the conversion ritual, and now he also has the entity. Yeah, and then the movie just goes on from there. Haunted by it, he sees Ryan haunted by it. Then they start to become kind of not trusting of each other, unsure. Like, is it you?
No,
is it not you?
He's just like, stay the fuck away from me.
They both tell, you're.
I don't trust you. Like, I saw you. You're the one that did this to me. And he's just like,
right.
No.
It's not until the sister of the pastor's son tells them, like, no, actually, this guy goes around doing this, and pretty much every kid he's done this to ends up dying or ends up coming out, like, really fucked up.
It's interesting to me because with religion, right, especially with certain sectors of Christianity, it's like they're not really all worshiping the same kind of God. And it's like, is the God you're worshiping truly good, right? And I feel like in the beginning, when he goes to the pastor's house, and this is an interesting visual, the daughter's at the table putting together that puzzle.
When it's a black goat.
And the puzzle is a black goat.
Yeah.
And that's a very powerful visual. Typically, seeing a goat is associated with
the devil, especially a black goat.
Right, it's associated with the devil. So here you have like this devout Christian house with very Puritan views, right? They are seemingly one and the same of
like they're seemingly just as evil as this guy who's doing the conversion ritual. But
it's kind of like religion makes a full circle on itself and becomes a thing that it says it's against.
Not only do Naim and Ryan are dealing with this entity together and trying to find out about it again through like the clues the sister of the pastor's son gave them. But then you also see that the pastor can't cope with the fact that his son was murdered, and he ends up leaving.
Yeah,
he ends up leaving. That affects the girl, the pastor's son's sister. I forget what her name is. I'm sure it's somewhere around here. I think it's Izzy. She becomes affected. She starts to take out her anger on Ryan and Naim.
When we left the theater, the first thing I said was, this movie was made for straight people who don't understand the experience that the LGBTQ community goes through. The whole experience of it, like, you're exploring your feelings of who you love, and there's shame to it. And then you have the religious aspect, which also adds more shame to it. And you have your families who just don't accept it, and they'd rather see you hurt than just accepting you and loving you for who you are. And at the same time, like, we know that this community often faces high suicide rates. Yeah. And, that reminds me of, like, that pastor's, the pastor and his family, they're over here crying because their kid died, but they're the reason.
They're the reason he died.
His kid died.
They're the reason he died.
And that's
quite literally the reason he died.
Like often the situation that happens.
Yeah, not even like indirectly. Like no, like he died because you forced him to go through this conversion therapy. That
accept him for who he is.
Because
you put a demon onto him, and now like you're the reason he died.
So to touch on like the plot just towards the end, there's a scene where they're looking for Ryan. Naim confronts his mother towards the end, and it's not the first time he tries to tell her throughout the movie about like the entity that's pursuing them.
Right.
And eventually she does admit to him like, no, I knew what that was. I knew what the conversion
was, and it can't be undone.
Yeah, I knew what this guy was doing with his conversion ritual. I knew exactly what it was. We all knew what it was.
And honestly, I'm thinking now, like, I don't even think it's a conversion ritual. I just think maybe that's how we interpreted it, because it's not a conversion ritual.
Well, that's what I'm just calling it. I'm just calling it that because,
it doesn't convert them. It harms them.
Right, it harms them. Right.
You know, we don't really know what they're being sold or how it's being sold.
But the mother knew full well what it was. And still put her son through it.
Right.
Because, and what was her answer? We all need fear in our lives to like live or survive. She was in on it, and she still put her own son through that ritual, knowing full well what that ritual entailed as far as like cursing him with this thing that could most likely get him killed.
Right.
But she felt that was a better solution than just
having him
be
the
gay.
way he is.
Yeah, the way he is. Maybe be gay.
An experience I hear often that they go through.
Right.
Where it's like your parent would rather see you anything but. Yeah, and that's just really sad. Like I just was like, you know, as soon as like I realized what was going on in the movie, which is not that far into the movie, I was like, wow, like I'm devastated right now. Like this is really like I'm sad.
Yeah, so the movie ends with Naim and Ryan just running off together because
they accepted that, you know.
At the end of the day, there's no way of beating this. There's no getting rid of it, unfortunately.
They run away from the community that does not accept them.
They choose to run away from the community that doesn't accept them, and then they just choose to be happy together.
They choose to like trust each other and be happy together.
Right.
Which, so it's an uplifting thought.
Yeah.
You know that, but it's just sad what they had to go through to get there. And again, like it sounds like a very realistic lived experience, but you know, watered down for other people to understand through horror.
It does remind me a lot of like It Follows. It does have a lot of that same sensibility of there's something that keeps following you that only you can see. I will say I do like the fact that the movie ended with there's no like way out. There's no like
the only way out is through it, or you know, if there is a way out.
Well, not even. It's just more like there's no way to beat it. There's no like, oh well, we can like find a loophole to the logic of this, and we found this out.
Because they do show you that, you know, fire scares it away.
Fire scares it away.
Fire is what reveals that it's not the real person that you're seeing. It's the entity that's following you.
Right, but it doesn't kill it apparently because he tried.
Yeah, obviously a way of identifying that it's not real, but they don't, you know, there's no lore drop of like, oh well, this is how you destroy it.
Right, exactly.
It's more just like you kind of just have to live with it for the rest of your life.
Right, unfortunately. And so I do like that the movie didn't, because again, it could have done that whole thing of like, well, now we got to do this whole sequence of how we get rid of it and making a plan and getting it here and luring it or something. The movie really didn't do any of that. Like
the simplicity of the end, and it's just them two on the bus.
It's a really tragic but kind of beautiful ending.
Yeah,
you know, them just like you said going on the bus, because he does see it. He does see the entity outside the window of the bus as they're traveling.
Right, as they're leaving the town, they see him. Yeah, you know, he sees Ryan.
So like, or like the entity, right, of taking the shape of Ryan. Yeah,
it was very emotional. Like I was crying, you know, in parts of the movie. Like this is just really sad. The idea that, you know, something you love so much is gonna hurt you. Like you lose all trust. You lose all like hope. If the person I love the most is just gonna beat me, or you know, it's not even the real person, it's the entity. But like, how can I trust anything? Or like, how can I even be safe in my own family? Is like putting me through this.
What's most tragic about it? Like, not only is it something that these people's own families are putting them through. No,
you're supposed to trust.
The people you're supposed to trust and supposed to take care of you and love you regardless are like
ones that are
subjecting
harming
you
them the most.
Right.
Like they're the reason you're getting harmed.
And also the fact that the entity takes the shape of someone that you're most attracted to or you're most in love with or whatever. And it's a really fucked up way to get you to have you feel like, oh, well, like you got to stop. The more I think about that movie, especially when we came out of it, I was like, wow, that's like all that movie was fucked up. Like, especially what they did to him. We had a bit of an issue with the first time we watched the movie.
Yeah, this was our second time watching it. You know, people were laughing and talking in the theater. And now that we've watched it again, I'm like, how could you just talk through this movie? Like, this is pretty intense. It's an intense topic. And you're over here chatting the whole time.
Chatting, bullshitting in the theater, yeah. But so we had to go rewatch it. Not knowing the ending, when we left that first time watching, I was like, damn, that's so fucked up that this guy would just like rat out on the pastor's son. But then I'm thinking about it.
Saying you like think about when you're younger, like, you know, and someone you're really into and you saw something else happening, like didn't you feel really hurt? I feel like that like his level of hurt was spot on.
Valid. I agree. Like now seeing it, I'm like, oh, okay. Like I understand. Like, you know,
he was feeling it, and you can feel it through the movie. Like you can feel all the movie emotions through watching the movie. Like all the actors were incredible.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. So I think the performances here are top notch.
Yeah.
You know. The mom is.
They don't hide it that she is very like conservative, religious, Puritan. Like
no,
her
they don't.
Outfits are very conservative. She never shows her neck. Her arms are covered. Like her hair is very plain. Like she wears the cross.
My thing about her character was the fact that like she's first comes off as someone who like supposedly really cares about her son.
I never got that vibe from her.
Well, remember in the beginning of the movie when they're at the church,
she knows what music he listens to does not mean that she is a caring mother.
Well, but again, like you don't get the sense that like, she would do something like that to him. It's only when she brings him to the conversion ritual thing that she has that look on her face, and you're like, does she know something?
Yeah, what the conversion ritual for him?
Remember, because there's a scene
the first conversion ritual.
Not the first conversion ritual.
The first one after that, the way she acted, I was like, oh, she sucks. There was no conversation in the car because he was clearly distraught about it.
Right.
There was no conversation
and then she started just playing music.
She just blasted the radio. The religious music.
Yeah, that's right. And it was the religious music.
Truly embracing her religious psychosis. And I was like, oh, she does not care about this kid's feelings.
Yeah.
You can tell she was very avoidant. There's no embracing. Like they stand next to each other. There's no like, warm connection between them. Like
you never see them hugging.
I did not get the sense that she is a very loving, supportive mother in the beginning. I just got a very weird religious fanatic vibe from her.
Well, and I'm thinking of the scene where they're in the kitchen and he's trying to tell her like there's something out there that's like
killing the kids.
Killing me, trying to kill me, attacking Ryan, whatever. And she's like, what? What do you mean? Can you prove it? Do you have evidence of it?
Cook for yourself tonight.
First off, it's crazy to me that like someone who is so puritanical and so like religious and such a zealot would try to reverse psychology her own son, being like, prove it, show me. And it's like, don't you believe in God, first off? Like, do you have proof of God? Like,
it shows you that juxtaposition of God, devil, and are they the same person?
Right.
Especially the God
and considering their actions, call yourself a devout follower of Christ and a religious person when these are the actions you're willing to take out on your own son. Just because you don't want him, you can't accept that he might be gay. So yeah, I agree with you. Let's, who are you really worshiping here? That is not something that like I think a loving God would do,
right?
To like curse a person
shows you
to
that, not all sectors of Christianity are built the same, and
absolutely,
the juxtaposition in this movie of the Christianity that they follow and the devil were very apparent.
All to say that I think her acting was very good, especially that last scene where she admitted she was very cold and she played it really well. Like I really hated her, so I got to give her props too for her acting. Like she really played it well. Like I left that theater, I was like, wow, like she's fucked up, dude. Again, like the performances here were all really top notch.
And Ryan were excellent.
Yeah, great performances all around. I think it's filmed really well. I think it's really eerie.
It really catches the horrors of being a teenager, going through these feelings, and then also just not being accepted by your family.
Yeah, by your community. The horror here depicted is it's not gory. I mean, there is gore.
Scenes.
There are
but
gory
it's
scenes.
not like, we're not watching
there's a decapitation. Yeah, there's a Terrifier. Yeah. Like there's a decapitation. Not that you see the decapitation, but there is like a severed head and stuff like that.
You see him stabbing the entity, and like you do see like gore, but it's not like over the top.
It's not over the top gore.
It's like the first time I've had like I guess like a possession movie make me really sad as opposed to scared. That's another thing too, because you have this other like priest like figure who is clearly messing around with a not godlike entity.
He's masking it as like religion,
right? And he's
as like acts of God.
He's playing with some kind of very evil entity, or you can say that God is also evil. Maybe, I don't know. That might be an.
I don't know about God also being evil, but also I think like, it's more to do, I think, with like, well, what are you worshiping here? The movie does really well in showing you, look how easygoing and this and religious and devout. And
for
really,
me, it's all
like
a red flag for me personally.
Well, because we feel that way, but again, from the outside looking in, it looks harmless when they're all at church and he's talking about like
cold, but
well, yeah, but that's what it is. I think it does that really well. It's paced well.
Yeah,
the movie's under an hour and a half. It's not even an hour. It's literally under an hour and a half.
You get a lot of story
you get a lot of story in this. It paces well. It's concise. There's no wasted steps here. There's no wasted screen time here.
I do feel like, I do understand why this one scene was added the way it was added, but it almost felt a little bit messy. They're building trust and rapport with the sister of the kid that died. She's telling them like, oh, we have to find the priest. He's the only one that can reverse this. And then she kind of just leads them to a trap where it's other kids who beat up on them.
Who are going to beat up on them. What's the point of that? Feels a little
misplaced.
Right.
But like, I get like, if she's angry at them, that's why she did that. It gives them like a specific name to find the person
for the one girl who did survive. Yeah.
So it feels genuine. It feels like she's really trying to help them through the situation, and then like they throw in that storyline, which is a little bit out of nowhere.
The sister character I did find a little more interesting, if only because she was church going, right? We see her singing. She's a singer in that band. She's also
the one that's putting together the puzzle piece of,
she's seemingly wanting to help them because she realizes like, oh, actually this is really fucked up.
Yeah.
She's seemingly putting together the pieces of like, well, this other girl at the beginning of the movie died from the same thing. You think that she is helping them to resolve the issue. I'm not saying
that she's not interesting at all. I'm just saying the scene felt a little bit thrown in there, but I get it at the same time.
Right, exactly. You get it at the same time because like, well, when she explains like, I'm mad at you for ratting out my brother and you're technically the reason he died, but she's skewing the reasoning there. She's misplacing her anger, right? I am ratting out the pastor's son had nothing to do with him dying. The pastor's son died because your parents
have these beliefs
and they forced him to go through this ritual that inevitably killed him because they were dealing with shit that they didn't understand.
Is name involved? Yeah, but like ultimately the parents made the decision.
Parents could have chosen to just accept him for who he is or just like kind of let it go or whatever.
Yeah. So that seems like maybe my only complaint, because maybe they could have done more to build up to that scene.
But I agree. I agree. It does feel a little misplaced. Yeah. It's not until she says like, or admits like, no, I'm mad at you actually also.
Yeah. But it's at the same time, like, why would you go through all the effort to like tell me about
and that's kind of the problem there narratively,
right? She gives a real name, it's a real person, they go see her.
I wanted to talk about that character too, I think it's Lisa or whatever. I forget what the character's name is, but they're the sister of the pastor's son, Izzy. She tells Ryan and Name to go see this other girl who also underwent this ritual, basically like lives at a hospital at this point. But she says lives, but really she's like committed to the hospital because they bring her back in. They're like, no, come back in here. They think she's crazy. And I just wanted to bring that up because it's like the movie doesn't really present too many outs for them, for the people who have undergone this. It's either you die or you're committed to a hospital in the loony bin because no one believes you. No rational person would believe you to be like, what do you mean something's chasing you like that? And I guess that girl like doesn't go to sleep, and you can see like she's got like these marks from constantly like whipping herself with a rubber band to keep herself awake. I think that's interesting too, because as far as like what you talk about is like what conversion therapy has done to like real people, or like in real life effects or real life consequences to the gay community. You force your kid to go through that because you're afraid that they might turn out to be gay, and then they either end up killing themselves, they either end up fucked up mentally, they have fucked up, or they make it out, or they decide to just like suppress or accept themselves, move forward and live normal lives, like you mentioned, which is what makes the ending like so tragic but really beautiful.
We can't outrun it. We can't do it. We just have to embrace it and embrace each other.
Yeah.
And unfortunately cut out the people that hurt us.
And at the end of the day, right, he goes against what his mother said, right? You have to have fear in your life, and they essentially choose to not live in fear. Otherwise, there's no wasted moments here. Yeah. Everything builds up to something. Very intentional. The scene in the house where like the entity's chasing Naim in his house.
Again, like the entity really tricks you. Ryan and Naim are talking to each other through the screen door, and Naim clearly doesn't trust it, but like he's getting sentimental and emotional with the entity.
Right. Because he really thinks it's him.
And like, you think, oh, well, he can't hurt him, whatever. Like maybe this really is him because he's also empathizing, and rips his arm through the screen door and starts attacking Naim.
Yeah, and he kind of forgets the first rule that like it comes to you when you're alone.
Yeah, because he says to him like, oh, let me in, the entity's in the back.
And mind you, the entity
is literally in his face.
Is in his face. It
with a smile on his face.
But that whole scene was really well done. Like I actually jumped out of my seat a few times.
Yeah, and that's what
the movie does really well. Like
I was just like horrified in like a sad way. Like, oh my god, this thing is unrelenting.
Yeah,
like,
it really is. But yeah, the movie I think does jump scares really well. I think it does.
Which I don't even think it's not really like a jump scary kind of movie either. Like
there is something to be said about I think the movie's simplicity as far as like the story, how they depict it. Yeah. How they resolve it, because it could have been very complicated. I'm glad it's not like super
kind of complicated. It's
the themes that are presenting are complicated. Yeah. Final thoughts?
It was a really good movie, but I also think it could be very triggering.
I agree. I think this movie could be triggering depending if it's like a lived experience where you are
in your headspace.
Yeah, like if this is something that's happened to you, like I would go with caution, because I think I agree. Like this could be a very triggering movie. Like, but it triggered me in a way that I was just like, wow, that's visceral. Like just to have like your own parent betray you like that and like seemingly hate you for who you are.
And like I feel like I had to keep explaining to him like, no, like this is the experience. Like this is, the experience that they go through. Like no matter what, their parent just can't get past
who they are.
This identity.
I agree. So, I think this movie, depending on like who you are,
where you are in your headspace, I would seat with caution.
But I'm seated. I'd recommend to watch this.
I'm seated, and I would recommend seat with caution.
Yeah. Not because it's bad or anything. It's an excellent movie. It is getting very high ratings.
I think this goes up there with Obsession for me.
Absolutely. I think as far as like horror movies that we've gotten this year, like
impactful horror.
But yeah, no, I definitely would recommend this movie. It's another banger for Neon. Neon's kind of been swinging it out of the park this year, and also for Australia. We got to give it up to Australia, because apparently Australia's got it locked down with horror movies recently. It definitely seated for me. If you can catch us in theaters while it's still there, please go watch it. I'd also catch it on streaming, I guess, if you can't make it to
whatever
theater,
form, if you want to watch it, if you're interested in watching it, watch it on whatever format you can watch it in. Yeah. Because I don't know if it's even available in all the theaters.
Well, so it did have apparently...
Was it like a 1,000 theater release?
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit, right? Like Neon only put it in like maybe like 1,500 theaters or something. Like it didn't get like a full release. But it's in a lot of theaters. I will say 1,000 plus. Yeah. And once you get to the 1,500 theaters, you're in a lot of theaters. So I think this is probably playing near you for sure. So it shouldn't be too hard to catch. But still, I think Neon's putting out really good stuff this year.
They're taking a chance. Yeah. Which is something a lot of companies aren't doing.
So yeah, those are our thoughts. Go watch Leviticus. We highly recommend. Probably, I think our favorite, I guess, out of the movies we watched this past week, it's been Leviticus, Furious. Yeah. The Furious and the Death of Robin Hood definitely.
I don't even rank Death of Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Be sure to like and subscribe. Let us know your thoughts on whether or not you caught this movie.
Email.
Send us an email. Leave us your thoughts and comments. Yeah. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Get a discussion going about the movie we just talked about. Much appreciated. Yes, and now seated.
We'll see with you next time.